Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. I'm Anthony White. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm not nosy, I'm more inquisitive. I love having conversations with people who would just do what they love to do. I want to experience why they do what they do. I want to experience what they do and who they're helping and experience how they can possibly be making a ripple in the world. Maybe I'll call this The Experience. Yes, this show is called The Experience, and I am so elated to experience it with you. For those of you who don't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's a time where we bring awareness to mental health. But of course, I was wondering, what does that look like? I had an opportunity to sit down with professional mental health worker and therapist Janetta Smith to have a conversation about what therapy is and perhaps dispel some of the myths and preconceived notions that are attached to therapy. It was quite a compelling interview. Take a look. Janetta Smith, thank you so much for joining us today on The Experience. As I mentioned earlier, May is Mental Health Month. And so what inspired you to work in the mental health field?
Wow. Well, what inspired me, actually, when I was in high school, I took a psychology class.
Wow.
And learned a lot about the brain and how it works and different theories and things like that. And it just fascinated me because I noticed I had a lot of crazy people in my family.
Right.
You know,
as we all do.
Including myself. It was just like this awareness that I had about like, oh wow, mental health is an actual thing.
Wow.
Like people actually deal with issues that like they're trained doctors that work on the mind.
Wow.
You know, I hadn't heard of it,
Wow.
you know, before then.
Wow.
So it really fascinated me and I started to look into it and I noticed like I was that type of person that people would come to with their problems. So that fascination and along with just like a natural like ability to talk to people,
Right.
I was like, wow, I could do this.
Wow.
I'm kind of already doing it. I think I wasn't doing it.
Right.
But I thought I was.
We all call ourselves therapists and
Right,
counselors in
right.
high school. Girl, talk to me. So for those of the people who don't really understand what therapy is, how would you define therapy?
Yes. Okay. So I would define therapy as almost like a clinical conversation with a trusted mentor, elder, friend. Just like therapy is kind of like a space where you don't have to feel judged, you know, where you can kind of be transparent, can be as real as you want to be, and have that opportunity to really dig and work on things that are upsetting you, things that are bothering you. So it's almost the equivalent of, you know, when you get sick, you know, and you've tried everything you can, you've taken over-the-counter medication and things aren't working, and then you're like, okay, I need to go to the doctor, and I need to explain to them what my symptoms are and what's happening. And because they're trained, you know, and they studied and they understand the way the body works, a therapist understands the way the mind works. So, you know, we can offer you a solution or we can help you figure out what's going on or, you know, prescribe you with a plan to kind of work through whatever your sickness is.
What a great analogy, you know, of someone who's hurt, you go to the doctor,
Right.
and if anybody who's having any type of mental thoughts or things that might not seem normal to them, they should go get and seek help.
Yeah.
Very good analogy. Now, for me, you know, when I hear the word therapy, I hear about somebody who's going to sit down and basically talk to a complete stranger about my deepest, darkest thoughts or secrets. So I can think of a million things that are wrong with that picture, but what are some benefits of someone actually sitting down with someone who they've never met?
Yeah, that's this person doesn't know you,
Right.
right? They can't judge you. They can't necessarily. I mean, they could, but we don't. You know, necessarily say, "Oh, this is what you always do," or "This is always."
Right. Wow.
Get over it, or
Wow.
whatever the case may be. You have a completely objective, blank slate person that's able to see you for what you're presenting, and they're able to affirm you. You know, there's something about getting affirmation from, you know, you can get it from a friend and it's like, oh, they're saying that because they're my friend, you know, but when you have a complete stranger that you've never met tell you things about you or see things in you that no one else sees or that other people, it makes a huge difference, you know, and it has a huge impact. And one thing about therapy is it's confidential, you know. We have HIPAA, we have laws that are in place to where we don't divulge the things that you share. You know, if you talk to your friend, it's possible that they may slip up or they may tell someone. If you talk to your mom, she may tell your sister or whatever, but it's a safe space where you can Be real and tell how you feel, and you don't have to necessarily worry about what I'm sharing getting out.
Right.
You know?
That's important. And so for many, they have preconceived notions of talking to someone. They suggest that they're crazy or they're whacked out. How would you dispel some of those myths and those thoughts that people have about therapy or seeking a mental health professional?
Yeah. I just come from the perspective of we all have something we're dealing with.
Wow.
You know, me as a therapist, I have my dealings
Right.
on a daily basis.
Right.
You know, if you find somebody that says that they don't, they're lying. You know, talk to their family. They'll tell you they're wrong. But everyone has something that they have to work through and deal with, you know, so we are all human, and I think that kind of we're flawed. You know, we're imperfect. You know, we have our life experiences that have caused us to be wherever we are, you know, so it's just the idea of knowing that you're not the only one. You know, now whereas there may be some more, you know, specific or severe, you know, mental illness issues, but even if that's the case, you're not the only one. If there's a diagnosis, there are potentially millions of people who have the same issue. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be in the book.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
There wouldn't be a prescription for it. There wouldn't be a medication to help with that if there weren't millions of people who dealt with the same thing.
Wow.
So I think if we got more comfortable with being transparent and being real and talking about what we really have going on, then it wouldn't be this, you know, stigma associated with talking to somebody or seeking help.
And for those out there who just want to just talk to somebody or just want to bounce some ideas off somebody, someone want to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
Yeah, so my counseling practice is Springforth Counseling, and you can find me, it's springforth.org.
Okay.
That's my website.
There'll be a link on this video. That will also
You can reach me there. I'm on Facebook, Springforth Counseling, Instagram, Springforth Counseling. I try to post, you know, inspirational quotes or different challenges. This whole month, Mental Health Awareness Month, pretty much every day I've been posting a challenge to try to help us understand mental health, to break the stigma, just different activities we can do and things of that nature. So yeah, just reach out, email me, message me. There are tons of, you know, resources. Even if you're in a different location, you know, I can help direct you somewhere else where you can get help. So
Netta Smith, thank you so much for talking.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And again, you can reach her, and the link will be right here on this video. Again, we want to thank Netta Smith for joining us today. Thank you again.
Thank you.
See, a great interview. I want to say thanks again to Netta Smith for sitting down with us and just having a conversation. And thank you again for clicking on this video. Please be sure to join us next week when I speak to YouTube personality, author, and motivational speaker Shamika Dean about her book, Positioning Myself to Be a Wife. Another great interview. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week on The Experience. Bye.